cure for fools.
Poor farm.
seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned. team's turret has been destroyed.
Season disaster, and the Nautilus just got absolutely eviscerated there. Oh, the Fate Seal not quite gonna find the mark. Temtem teleporting into the play, but too late to save the support. Not able to find anything just yet, but Lilia is here. Rengoku wants to try and find something, and so is Ornn. They have everybody down here in the bot lane. Call the Forge guy connects onto 2. Temtem flying to the back line, trying to find a little bit of damage. Killer Instinct forward, though, and Casey is down. They got the marksman. Rengoku, can he carry the fight still? He's exhausted. They take out the jungler as well. And now Vi coming in to get the last hit on the Ornn. It's going to be a 4 for 2 in the bottom lane as the side of Ragnarok Skoll come out massively ahead.
Yeah, huge play for Ragnarok Skoll. That would have been a 4v5, but they got a kill so early on into the fight that they were able to make it a 4v4. They find the full ace. Akuma not even able to join the fight. Stand United was on cooldown. Going to be able to take a top turret off of this. They're going to be able to take the first Ocean Drake of the game. This is huge momentum swing in favor of Ragnarok Skoll, and they're going to be in a very strong spot and coming up on these 3rd and 4th Drakes for themselves.
Absolutely massive. It will be the Ocean Soul this game, of course, so a lot of value potentially for Shen and for the tank Maokai. Will be the tank build. So went for the Even Shroud as the mythic of choice. So I do like that selection there for Phantom. Almost able to finish off that top tier 1 Akuma. Not quite able to do it though, actually. Will be pushed back in the end.
Guess not doing as much damage, even though the Iceborne Gauntlet has the sheen in it now. That helps you do extra damage when you use the abilities. Still apparently not enough to quite solo kill the tower. Still going to be a lot of damage down, though. Maybe going to just leave it up so that the rest of the team can come get some gold. Shen, pretty decent, even without any gold investment. And here's the team.
Got a lot of players up here. It's going to be Akuma landing the taunt and Vi here with the follow-up. A lot of damage from the Inferno trigger, though. Casey will get interrupted. The Stand United coming through. I believe that's on a discrepancies. Vi, Akuma going to land another taunt onto 2 Ethereal Ice. You have to follow up now as well, and the Orb of Deception will take out Ornn, but before he can recast the ultimate, only Rengoku left now. And it is another decisively one-team fight for Ragnarok.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take this tower for sure at this point. Going to be able to sink another wave into it as well. So I think that this is going to be big experience advantage. Rengoku going for this play? No way.
Oh, he was thinking about it, I guess. But yeah, that tower was way too low. No way to defend it. You don't want to be going in there 1v3 by yourself. So the Lilia was just taunting them maybe. Just wanted to play some mind games, but has got to be careful. Akuma wants him, does connect just the edge of the taunt. But Rengoku should be fast enough to escape, I believe. Just barely able to eep himself underneath the tier 2. Temtem, shield bow popped, Killer Instinct forward. Wolfman wants this one, has the stealth on the E already. 2-level advantage for the Yone, but it might not matter. W connects. Wolfman can't chase onto the turret.
It's like Wolfman had the drop on that 1v1, though. If Temtem is not able to 1v1 enemy AD carry, then this could become a difficult time to find yourself in a solo lane. Temtem needs to back off here. Phantom might be able to find the dive setup.
Not a good sign. That is a dredge line connecting, though. Plenty of CC onto Wolfman, but zero follow-up. Phantom just goes under the tower and just zeroes out the Yone. Oh, no. Not a good side for the Banana Brawlers whatsoever. Lilia's here now, though. It's going to be a kill onto Casey in the mid lane. Can Rengoku find anything down here? Oh, he's got the double sleep, but no! He's denied. Wolfman with the DPS just before he takes a nap. Able to save the life of himself and his support. Finishes off the jungler. And this game number 1, Tiger, is just looking all Ragnarok all the way.
Yeah, it's just broken wide open. All the kills of late have gone over to Ragnarok Skoll. They don't need any of those Rift Heralds anyways. They're going to be in position where I think that they're one team fight away from taking Baron here. They've already taken all 3 outer towers. They have a lot of prio over the map, and with Discrepancy leading the charge at 6-1 and 10, this whole team is going to be leading in the gold. And it's pretty evenly distributed as well, other than mid lane and top lane being a little bit closer.
Yep, definitely. It was, a very, remember, it was such a strong start for Casey down there on the Samira in the bot lane, but Wolfman and Phantom stayed cool, and they've come back very strong in this one, well ahead of their counterparts now on the other side. You can see that 300 gold bounty on Wolfman's Kaisa. Really, really strong now at this point in the game. Has the 2-item completion, well ahead of Casey's Samira. Now Temtem's going to get taunted up. He's a level down to Akuma. And the Shen is really heavily winning out in this trade. Reinforcements will be first for Temtem. He's got some teammates in the area, so Akuma not going to be able to do too much chasing. Interrupted out of the Vault Breaker there is Discrepancy. Valkyrie in danger of getting charmed here. Sidesteps it nicely. Now Akuma getting collapsed on a little bit. Could be in trouble, but it's the Nautilus that gets taken out first. And the cease and desist onto the jungler secures that kill as well. The Death Ball working extremely effectively there for Ragnarok Skoll. They're going to be able to secure Ocean Soul point for themselves now. And Orin trying to do some split pushing in top lane, but I don't know if he's really going to be able to accomplish that much.
Yeah, the big part of the split pushing is getting solo EXP out of the minion waves and trying to get levels onto your Ornn. Makes a lot of sense here. Went Sunfire Aegis first, actually, so just trying to set up the ability to push out the waves. Akuma's just kind of beaten down on Reflect at the moment.
Yeah, that Iceborne Gauntlet getting a lot of value with the slows on the auto attacks. The Ornn just cannot escape from Shen here. Call the Forge God R2 will connect, but it just doesn't matter. There's nothing he can do. Akuma just ran him down.
That is absolutely brutal. Akuma's playing fantastically in this top lane, this game. The matchups in the 1v1 starting to look pretty one-sided. So much so that the Iceborne Gauntlet has to be responded to by Reflect buying his own Iceborne Gauntlet. Such a good item this game. I was talking about beforehand that being in close quarters a lot. That's the type of item. I'm still surprised that we're not seeing any heart steals, but definitely a good item there. And now with the Ragnarok Skoll being this far ahead, it looks like they might just make the call to go straight onto the Baron.
Oh, they absolutely will. Yeah, they have Temtem down in the bottom lane. He does have access to the TP, but I don't think Banana Brawlers even are aware that this is happening. It's just got taken so quickly. Kaisa is so good at shredding these Barons. Vi as well with the armor shred on the W, and they just absolutely destroy that Baron in just seconds. And the Brawlers now really up against it, down almost 6,000 gold. And it's going to be the Ragnarok Skoll closing in from all sides now.
Yep, this is the strongest spot to be in if you're Ragnarok Skoll. They do need to continue to push their advantage. I'm looking with this Baron for them to break the base. They gotta be able to take their lead into the victory, because from here on out, I don't think that they'll get any stronger. It's just going to give advantages over the longer this game goes back to Banana Brawlers. I mean, I guess that Soul is a pretty nice thing to have, so that's a little bit of an upgrade. That at least delays the stall longer.
Oh, the Flash Charm forces the cleanse out from Casey there. Flash for cleanse, not the greatest of trades. Ethereal Ice, maybe forgetting that Samira had access to that summoner spell. But still, there is some value there. Gonna find a little bit of damage here onto Reflections. Wolfman immediately going for the ultimate. Discrepancy in as well. Call of the Forge God comes up, but they finish off the Ornn before he can recast it. Now it's Temtem caught out on the side. He gets zeroed out. Both of the soul laners taken out just like that. Ragnarok 5v3 on the map with the Baron buff already. They're in full control. Could look to end the game here, Tiger.
Yeah, Yeah, I certainly would hope that they could. I mean, they're up against an engageless enemy team. I mean, Nautilus is a little bit of engaged, but
Oh, the flash taunt, that was beautiful from Akuma, straight onto Casey Samira, forced to flash away immediately. It will be a shutdown onto the Kaisa, though, onto the turret, maybe a little bit too aggressive. Rengoku looking to turn it around, but the Vault Breaker connects. Oh, Rengoku also barely limping away with single-digit health. It's a couple of kills back over to the Banana Brawlers now. Ethereal Ice in trouble. Oh, but Casey locked up again by Akuma and Discrepancy coming in for the double reflect, though. Respawned Rengoku. Re-healed from the fountain. The stand unit comes out. Nice big shield for Discrepancy. The flash fate sealed. Connects onto 2. Temtem with the redemption. Gets himself the double for Rengoku. Absolutely massive turnaround now for the Brawlers. They're still behind, but they're showing signs of life.
Yeah, the base is broken, but so many shutdowns given over there. I think that's definitely got to feel good if you are Banana Brawlers. They're going to be in a spot where they can look to set up some vision potentially around this next Drake as well, trying to delay the soul for a little bit longer, try to stall out the game. That's their path to victory right now, and they've got a very strong late game setup. They're decent at defending their towers. They don't have a whole lot of range or good wave clear, but as we can see, if you dive too deep, and especially if Wolfman gets caught, then there is a way to win these fights. So Banana Brawler is going to be looking to continue to pick off Wolfman here, as that was the formula for success in that last fight.
Yeah, absolutely. That was Wolfman getting picked off on that dive underneath the turret was critical, but still very, very far ahead on the side of Ragnarok. They have 3.5 items on their Kaisa to only 2.5 for Casey's Samira. So very strong still, closing in on level 16 for Ethereal Ice. Akuma already there on the Shen, extraordinarily tanky. Almost has the ultimate back off cooldown now as well. Dragon is alive. That is a Swirl Seed connecting onto Wolfman. The Leandry's burn doing a lot of damage there to the Kaisa, almost down to 50% health before the fight even begins. It's River Control, held by the Banana Brawlers. Knock up over the wall. Good damage from the Orb of Deception. Discrepancy going in. Looking for the play. They zero out the support. Nautilus is down. They get the Yone as well. The Fate Seal just a little bit too late to mean much of anything. And it's the side of the Ragnarok Skullies. They strike first. They win. The fight. Reflect will go down. And it's the 5-for-1. An absolute smashing team fight for Ragnarok Skoll. They'll secure the Ocean Soul. And they're right back in control.
Yeah, I mean, they never weren't in control. They just had a little bit of a moment there in the enemy base, but as soon as the 5v5 team fights come back, Banana Brawlers trying to make the stand there at the Drake. Gotta commend them for their efforts, but this game, it looks like it's going to be Ragnarok Skoll. They're pushing in towards the base. They're going to be able to find the mid lane inhib tower, and we'll see just how far they can go.
2 inhibitors exposed now, but the respawns are coming through for the side of the Banana Brawlers. They've got everybody alive in a couple more seconds here. Baron going to be spawning onto the Rift in a minute. Depth Charge coming out, connecting onto the Vi there. Will he go for the Dredge line? Toxic Valkyrie holding it for now, and it will be the side of Ragnarok Skoll getting away. It does appear. Gonna have a hard time resetting and coming back out onto the map in time for Dragon. It looks like they will forego the reset potentially. No, they do want to take the base. This will give vision control over the topside river over to the Banana Brawlers.
Yeah, they've got a wave stacking up in the bot side. That has to be answered by Banana Brawlers. They can't just leave that wave because it will push in towards the inhib. It looks like they will have Kais answer that one. Should be fine, but that does mean that there's time to come back off the reset, go towards this Baron, and Samira no teleport means that it should be a pretty free take here for Ragnarok Skoll.
Yeah, the Banana Brawlers not able to hold the area. They're not strong enough. There was that big stacking wave in the bot lane, like you mentioned, Tiger, that did have to be taken care of, so they immediately have to vacate the area once again. They give over another Baron to the side of Ragnarok. On all 5, Akuma gonna find the taunt onto Temtem. This Shen is so incredibly tanky, and with the Frozen Fist, you can't run away from him. Temtem is slowed. He's gonna get smashed back in the Killer Instinct, and Wolfman makes short work of him. And now, Discrepancy going in with the unstoppable Vi ultimate, locks it down. Another one, 2 taken out now. 5v3 on the map. Reflect forced to flash away to keep himself alive. Akuma will find the taunt, though, and the Ornn will not have any way out. It's 5v2 now. There's no way that Rengoku and Toxic Valkyrie can hold. They're flashing underneath the Nexus turrets. I don't think they're going to mess this one up, Tiger. I think this must be the end of the game as Rengoku tries to do as much as he can, but it is not enough, as Wolfman will finish off the jungler, and the Nexus will be taken out 31.5 minutes, and it will be Ragnarok Skoll that take game number 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty close one through about the first 20 minutes, and then once we saw finally one side get a 5k gold lead, that was Ragnarok Skoll, and they definitely didn't look back from that point on. They were the better team here in game number 1, I feel confident in saying. And I think that going into game number 2, that should give them some more confidence going forward, that they should be the team that looks to advance towards the semifinals. But they got to win a few more games. They got to make sure that they don't let up on the gas pedal here, because that's why you play out the whole series.
Absolutely. We cannot be underestimating the Banana Brawlers at this point. You have to continue to perform at a high level here. If you're Ragnarok Skoll, you have to continue to perform in the way that you did in that first game if they want to ensure that they will move forward in the upper bracket. You know, Rengoku, despite the loss, had a little bit of a banger game on the Lilia. You know, he still had the positive KDA. He did 42,000 damage, by far the most in the game. So this is, you know, the Banana Brawlers are not done yet. I'm sure they're going to have some kind of counterattack, some kind of response for game number 2. They're going to be changing up the strategy a little bit in some way. So we'll just have to see if Ragnarok are able to continue their momentum and make it the 2-0, or if the Banana Brawlers will fight back and give us that close match that I think we might expect from the closeness of the rankings of these teams. But we will go to a short break, I think, guys, while the teams get ready for game number 2, while they discuss those adjustments that we were just hinting at. But don't go anywhere. We will have more of the Style Season 13 postseason right after this. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports. Getting ready over here for our Game 2 draft. The teams will be swapping sides. The Banana Brawlers electing to move over to the red side for their second game tonight to try and change things up a little bit. Maybe get a little bit of a different look for themselves coming out of the drafting phase, Tiger.
Yeah, definitely going to be different when you switch over to red side. I wonder if their bans will switch up at all. Last game they went for the Misfortune, Seraphine, and Vex bans. I think that when you're red side, the bans generally are a little bit tighter because you have to ban away things that are first pickable as well. But I think that they aren't going to be too concerned about the Samira being first picked away here. I think Samira was a big feast or famine champ as we saw last game, so maybe they're
Yeah.
going to make some room for a Shen ban or a Vi ban potentially. Those were some oppressive champs last game.
Yeah, absolutely. The Shen pick was pretty massive, and the Vi as well. Discrepancy did very well with the pick, although that really seemed to me like a little bit more of a discrepancy popping off versus Vi popping off. But definitely the Vi pick could potentially be ban worthy. We'll see what they decide to go for. But in terms of our preseason, Tiger, I really don't feel like we saw that many of the preseason changes come into play. We did have, of course, the slightly reworked or reverted, I guess I should say, Frostfire Gauntlet up there for both of the top laners. And we had one Chemtech Dragon, but besides that, it wasn't really there wasn't really too much crazy new stuff happening, I would say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you for the most part. I mean, there was some universal changes that are impacting the game at large. I mean, the camps are a little bit tougher to clear, especially if you don't have that jungle pet, so a little bit less opportunity for laners to take camps away. And a little bit harder to take camps on invades either. We didn't see I don't think we saw any invades at all until the teams were just pushing towards the other side of the map completely. So, not a whole lot of impacts that were being seen, but maybe some impacts that changed what the players were doing.
Yeah, that is true. Certainly a possibility. Um, We're into our bans here for this first phase, though, now, Tiger. It will be the Victor Viego Heimerdinger banned away by Skoll, which are identical to their bans that they had from Red Side in game number 1. Over here for the Banana Brawlers, it will be the Misfortune, the Seraphine, and the Vi will get removed. So they did identify the Vi as a major problem, and they will not allow Discrepancy to pilot the Piltover Sheriff once again. Or actually, she's not really the Sheriff, that's Caitlyn, but they will not allow him to have the Vi again, and it will be the Lilia taken away. You talked about this a little bit in Game 1 draft, Tiger. You expected this Lilia to be a contested pick between these two junglers, and it will indeed be B1 for Discrepancy, taking the Lilia into Game 2.
Yeah, without Vi on the table, Lilia is definitely the top pick I would have expected from Discrepancy. I was kind of wondering if it would just be a Maokai first pick again because Maokai's still a pretty flexible champion, able to go in multiple roles, and was very good from the support role last game. I think that we saw Phantom playing it out pretty well, but not maybe feeling that it's going to be contested by Banana Brawlers, and that's some interesting picks. That
Whoa!
Competitive.
Yeah, the Zyra Karthus 1-2 on red side for the Banana Brawlers. Just an absurd amount of magic damage that they've gone for already here. I mean, I imagine that's Karthus jungle. We do see Karthus carry bot once in a while, but I feel like jungle is much more common. Probably just trying to match the clear speed of the Lilia there, potentially. And it will be the Ashe for Skoll, so they want to deny the Ashe-Zyra pairing, definitely. And it does seem like a pretty good combo with Lilia as well, able to use the Hawk Shot to search for counter-jungling opportunities.
Yeah, Karthus, a three-way flex here, really could be jungle, mid, or bot.
Yeah,
I'm trying to check in, see if I can find if any of these players have been playing it very much. I don't see anything that indicates that, though, so Kind of a wild card pick there, and I was wondering if Ashe would be flexed between ADC and support, but it looks like it's just going to be that Ashe Thresh bot lane. Should be pretty strong in the early stages of the game, but they might be susceptible to being outranged and poked out if we see something like a Jhin or a Varus or a Caitlyn picked up here by Banana Brawlers.
Yeah, there is a lot of zone control for Ashe Thresh. You know, they have the AoE slow from the Ashe volley, and then Thresh has all of his CC to follow up. But it will be the Varus, so they are going to go for that strategy of outranging the Ashe. This is a classic matchup, the Battle of the Archers, down there in the bottom lane, Ashe versus Varus. Both supports with a little bit of CC to try and set up for those arrows to find their mark, so that should be a very entertaining lane to watch. Banana Brawlers will deny the Shen from Akuma. I feel like, honestly, they could have maybe taken the Shen on B3 and just left support open, because there hadn't really been very many support bans, and Akuma's Shen was very nutty. But they went for the complete bot lane instead. They will, of course, mean that Shen will be banned, and Silas banned away by Skoll. So targeting mid laners, perhaps. Not expecting the Karthus to be going into that position.
Yeah, I think that the Shen was partially just a counter pick to the Orange. Shen's definitely a strong laner and also has more map presence, so it's really only in the 5v5 team fights that Ornn feels better. So with that Shen counter pick not being available in the first half of the draft this time around, I think that's probably why they decided to hold top lane pick for later. And maybe Akuma going to be playing something like an Aatrox, something that's a little bit more of a big force out of the lane, would make a lot of sense. So we'll just have to see which direction they end up going. But with the counter pick available, Banana Brawler is going to have the opportunity. It looks like they're holding that flex with Karthus, but it's probably going to be mid lane as their last pick.
I do imagine that will be the case. You know, there is some flexing that can happen here with Karthus and Volibear as well. You know, Volibear able to go into the jungle also, as well as the top lane, but likely Volibear top Karthus jungle, I think, is what we're expecting right now. And over here for Ragnarok, you know, they do have that utility bot lane, so room for a little bit more damage from the top side, and it will be the Jax locked in this time for Akuma. Seems like an appropriate pick for him, considering how strong he was in the lane last game. Could be an absolute menace in the side as we go later here into game 2. But what will be the last pick now for Ragnarok? Their mid laner is what we still need to see.
Oh,
not the Ahri.
It's my favorite champion, Lux.
Whoa, Lux is your favorite. I don't know if I knew that, Tiger.
I'm a Lux support one trick, so small Tiger fact available for you here. But going to be the mid lane Lux this time around. I think that should do a pretty decent job of assisting in some skirmishes, but Ragnarok Skoll have a different look. Split push is really what I'm looking for them to excel at.
Yeah, but the Lux mid is a dangerous blind pick, right? And the R5 available for Banana Brawlers, they went for the Zed, the Master of Shadows, to snuff out the light. What do we think about that matchup?
Well, I definitely think that Zed's going to feel good into Lux.
I think he might feel pretty good.
Whenever I play mid lane Lux, I ban Zed because Zed's just such a hard matchup to play. You're getting poked out by the shurikens. It's going to probably have to be a Seeker's arm guard pretty early to help out with the laning phase for Etherealized. But that feels so bad when you're up against a Zyra and a Karthus as well. So the itemization here just isn't going to feel good in general. But I will say Banana Brawlers, a very squishy team comp here. They could be susceptible later on into the game to just get one shot by some poke.
Especially if we have a little bit of an off-meta bear build. You know, there's the AP mage bear build floating around out there. There's some hybrid builds. Could see him go for one of the new mythics as well. I honestly, Frostfire Bear sounds kind of nasty. I think that could be coming through here once again, potentially. And would give them some much-needed front line if it is a tank build for the bear. But I do agree, of course, with your assessment in general. Very squishy composition. Dark Harvest, I imagine, will be the selection on Lilia once again. And I do think that an early Hourglass for Lux in the mid lane there would make a lot of sense, because while it is not the right resist to deal with Karthus, the active is incredibly valuable for trying to dodge away from the Death Laser from the Requiem. So I think that an early purchase there would make a lot of sense. And the side lanes, of course, going to be, I agree with your assessment there completely as well. Going to be where the side of Ragnarok are going to be looking to play through. They have Akuma on the Jax. He's looking to get some work done over there. And then they have the Ashe for some scouting and some long-range support, potentially. And Lilia able to get some very fast clears. Hopefully able to control some objectives against the Karthus. But that jungle matchup is going to be really interesting to watch here, I think, Tiger. Both clear very quickly. Both AP, both pack a big punch. Scale very well. So, going to be... If Discrepancy plays the way that they did in the last game, then I feel like their team might be favored to take the 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone on Ragnarok Skoll plays like last game, they are going to be looking good for sure. But I think that their two top tier is a little bit more difficult to play out. I mean, they're looking to do some side lane action. They're probably going to focus a lot on Optimus Jax to be the big carry of this team. I don't think that they ever really want to be in a 5v5 situation. Maybe if they can get a good flank, start it off with a big 3+ man Wilting Lullaby, then it's okay. But I think that in the long run, neither of these sides is a big proponent of a 5v5 type look. I'm thinking 4-1's probably the way Ragnarok Skoll want to go. And it's just a pretty heavy early game investment here for Banana Brawlers. I mean, having the Zed locked in last pick, you really want your Zed to be ahead to be able to one-shot the enemy carries, and then that's how you're going to win the game, is just by making it so that the other team can't play.
Yeah, definitely going to be the idea to find that early advantage with the Banana Brawlers. They do also scale quite well with the Karthus. With the Zyra, Varus, even if he does go for the lethality build, there's a lot of squishy members over here for Ragnarok that he can look to be targeting. So I don't think their scaling is bad by any means, but definitely when you have champions like Volibear, like Zed, there is a very big sweet spot for your composition in the early game where you're going to be looking to find those advantages. And for the side of Ragnarok, I think it's not really the case, right? They have a lot of control. They have like a lot of long range damage with Lux, and Ashe with the volley, able to get some pretty decent range with that as well. And I don't think that they're going to be pressed really to find any advantages in the early game. So I expect them to maybe take a little bit more of a back foot and try not to provide the Brawlers with many opportunities.
Yeah, I think that they aren't forced to do anything, but if it's anything like last game, Ragnarok Skoll is going to want to make plays, and they've got some tools to do so. Once they hit their level 6s, they've got a lot of strong pick potential. So I think that just because they don't have to doesn't mean that they're going to play quietly here. Maybe through the first 6 levels they should try to avoid fighting for the most part, because they're up against a lot of high base damages. But once they get to some higher levels, they're going to be looking just as much as before to get some scrapping on, I think. And both sides are going to be looking to find numbers advantages in these fights. And if they can get that, then they can start to get a gold lead and stack up some Drakes. That's the whole game plan here in my eyes. We're just looking at the late game is Jax. That's it. Late game is Jax. Everything else is just part of the early to mid game.
Yeah. I mean, I do think Lilia scales pretty well also, but your point is well taken. From game number 1, it was, of course, the Banana Brawlers bot lane that got very far ahead early on, but then it was Discrepancy making his way down there to put a stop to it, and Wolfman and Phantom staying cool down there, not tilting, waiting for their moment, and then finding it, capitalizing on it, coming back in that first game. But now things looking a little bit different. It's the side of Ragnarok Skoll with a little bit more of a scaling split push composition. And the side of the Banana Brawlers moving over to red side now, and they have a lot of long range damage from the bot lane. And they have a Karthus Zed, jungle mid. Really, really spicy. A lot of damage, mixed damage as well. Really good damage variety. So not able to build resistances effectively on the side of Ragnarok. But what do you think, Tiger? Do you have a prediction for game 2? Do you expect Ragnarok to make it the 2-0 with what they have over here with Akuma on the Jax, discrepancy with the Lilia? Or do you expect the Brawlers to come fighting back with their R5, Zed counter pick, all of these snowbally high damage champions?
Well, if you're putting the confidence in the Temtem Zed as your R5 counter pick, then I think that that's a pretty good look. But I think based off of the last game, you can't rule out the fact that the teams just didn't look quite on the same level. Once we got to that mid-game stage, Ragnarok School knew exactly what to do with their team comp. I think that happens again here, and we're looking at a potential 2-0.
All right, we'll see if they can do it. Would be a big statement from them, taking out the number 2 seed, sending them down to the lower bracket in such a fashion, but I'm sure the Brawlers will not be going down easy. Don't want to miss this next one, guys. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. We are underway now with Game 2 of the evening. The Banana Brawlers moving over to red side now. We do have Ragnarok Skull on the blue. We got a brief pause to start things off. A little bit of lag coming through on the side of the Brawlers.
L timer though, that's on the surprise play on the bot side. That's really unfortunate timing. But
Yeah.
if you gotta pause, you gotta pause, I guess. But that pause does give us a little bit of an opportunity. I think that we missed out on giving the introduction to today's matchup because we had the audio not quite working for us. So you wanna give that to us again, Crewman?
Absolutely, Tiger. I'm happy to run the introduction for us one more time here. So, everybody in Twitch chat, I apologize again for the technical difficulties when we were starting things off tonight. It turns out it was an issue with Discord, just not working appropriately. But we'll give you a little bit of a peek here. Oh, looks like we might not have time after all, Tiger. Unfortunate.
No, they're not going to do anything else. That was just Flash. They're done now. You got
Okay.
You got
All right. All right. I'll do the thing. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Style Esports League. Tonight will be the fourth match of the Piltover postseason, with the number 2 seed Banana Brawlers facing off against the number 3 seed Ragnarok Esports Skoll. As the second seed, the Banana Brawlers had a bye in the first round. On the other hand, Ragnarok Skoll was up against the number 5 seed Team Death Knights Amethyst. Ragnarok did emerge victorious from that battle, but the Death Knights were able to make it a close contest by taking game number 2. This may mean that Ragnarok have to step up their game a little bit tonight if they want to take down an ostensibly more difficult opponent in the Bananas. The loser of tonight's match will go on to face number 6 seed No Good Luck in the lower bracket, but the winner will secure themselves a spot in the semifinals, and they will get their squad one step closer to that first place prize pool of $100 US. Coming at you live tonight from the Auto Host location, it's Chris Crewman Newman, joined by the terrific Tiger 58. And those Ragnarok Skollanese are indeed one step closer to making their way towards that semifinal. Yes, Twitch chatter, you are correct. The score is wrong. I will try once again to fix it. Over to you for a second, Tiger.
Yeah, so we've got not a lot unexpected stuff here. Both mid laners going Summoner that helps them in the lane. Ethereal Ice not wanting to die in the 1v1 picks up the barrier, and the Ignite should do pretty well against that. We'll see if this hook turns into anything. Level 1's not quite the time where you're going to be able to find those all-ins, but Kais, I feel like last game we saw the early advantage going over in the bot lane to Kais and Toxic Valkyrie, but this time if it happens again, Varus is a lot more of a problem champion from ahead to deal with than Samira. You can't just land your CC and then there you go, the entire champion is ruined. Got some 1v1s going on in the top lane, though.
Oh, yeah. Reflect flashing away. The flash follow for Akuma, but the Leaf Strike not off cooldown yet. He can't finish the job. The Sky Splitter comes down now, and it's first blood for the Bear as Reflect picks it up.
Yeah, hitting him from the sky with the thunder. The Volibear able to take out that first kill. Reflect has the most games on Volibear last season of any champ, so not surprising to see that champion piloted pretty well here. But Akuma now going to have a little bit of a rougher time in this lane. Got to play it out a little bit quieter to get back towards that late game state.
He thought he had Reflect there, flashing forward, just needed one more auto attack, but wasn't able to find it. But Reflect now, wanting to push in the wave. He has his jungler here. The stun will connect, but the exhaust comes down from the Karthus. It's going to be death in the top lane once again, as in the bot lane. Casey looking to get the same start as he had in game number 1. It's going to be a double for the Varus. And it is Banana Brawlers coming out swinging early on. Temtem in trouble, though, and he will get traded back. So Discrepancy able to find a kill back for Ragnarok, able to get him on the board. And it is 2 deaths already, though, on the Jax. Really rough start for Akuma. And Casey, a strong start in the bot lane for the Brawlers once again as well.
What a great prediction on the light binding from Ethereal Ice there. Able to make the flash invalidated. Temtem goes down anyways, and now without flash can be reganked as well. But around the rest of the map, a pretty good look at the start of the game from Banana Brawlers. Those 2 kills in the top lane, that's what they were missing in the last game. Otherwise, pretty much the same situation. 1 kill going over to Phantom, able to take out Toxic Valkyrie in that play. But Kais able to get the 2 kill start once again. Like I'm saying, I think that this is going to be a more difficult champion to come from behind against. I think that the Vars Zyro lane should be pretty oppressive. Ends up going for the Noon Quiver instead of going for the Serrated Dark, so I'm a little bit surprised about that one. But we'll see if that ends up being the correct play to help Kais get even further ahead.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised by that as well, going for the on-hit Varus. It is the lethal tempo, so clearly this was the plan coming out of the drafting phase for Casey. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how it works for him as Akuma lands the stun, jumps away from the Sky Splitter this time around.
Looks like Rengoku gonna try to set up a gank here around the bot side. But Wolfman and Phantom, understanding the matchup, they have to play this one back, play it under tower, give Discrepancy a chance to farm it up, and let the Lilia carry them throughout the mid game. They're going to get the vision now. First Drake on the map going to be this Hextech Drake, so we'll see if it gets contested, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty favorable situation to go towards it for the side of Banana Brawlers.
Yeah, Karthus not amazing at taking the early Drakes. He does have the Lost Chapter already, so actually a decent amount of damage coming out from this Karthus, and it looks like he will just try and start it up solo, and there will not be a contest. It's Discrepancy looking for a little bit of counter jungling on the other side of the map, and it's pushing the bot lane for the Brawlers. So first neutral going to go their way, and still a couple of minutes before we get to the Rift Herald.
Yep, getting that extra camp is pretty worthwhile trade-off for Discrepancy.
Oh, Ethereal Ice is going to go down, though. The Death Mark comes through from Temtem, and he is very comfortably able to pick up that solo kill. That is why you pick Zed into Lux, everybody. For anybody who wasn't familiar with that matchup, that's usually how it looks.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for Ethereal Ice there is that the light binding is on cooldown throughout that 1v1. So Temtem's able to dive under tower without any fear of retribution. Ethereal Ice spends all of the summoner spells, but still not able to even trade the kill back. So Temtem able to get that first kill, starting to open up a pretty big CS advantage as well. So that's going to be a really good spot to be in.
Yep, absolutely. Discrepancy has been going along at a pretty good clip here in the jungle. Been doing pretty well for himself, but Karthus is right behind him. Only a camp and a half behind or so is Rengoku. Top laner still doing it out. Discrepancy here on the Lilia. Only level 5 still. They're going to get the post-pause. As the Eep is about to be landed. There it is. A lot of damage onto the bear. Reflect trying to walk his way out of this one. Going to go for the Stormbringer now, and will just barely be able to make it underneath the tier 1 turret. Arrow connecting there for Casey. Wolfman down to 50%. Discrepancy still hanging around on the top side, but Temtem has the push in mid, so he's able to move. Is potentially able to cover. As the Chain of Corruption landing another arrow onto Wolfman. A lot of damage onto the Ashe, but we get the Flay back into the turrets. One tower shot onto the Varus, but flashing forward. Valkyrie with the Flash Ignite finishes off the Marksman, but will burn down. Phantom going to pick up the last hit, but Casey with another kill. 3-0 now on the Varus. Going to be so strong in this early game once again, but we got to watch out for Discrepancy if he comes down here to shut down the Varus. You can see him making his way towards the bottom side of the map now. Rengoku clearing his top side at the moment. So Varus wisely, Casey going to make his way back to base, spend his hard-earned gold, and that is just going to be a very hefty advantage for the Banana Brawlers for now.
Yeah, I think that maybe you leave that kill up so that Rengoku can share in the spoils, because that Requiem certainly would have claimed the kill, but whatever the case, Kai's going to be able to use that to help move towards Immortal Shield Bow. Actually rushing the Merc treads as well. So going to be careful not to get CC locked. But now the mid lane gank being set up, a 3-man dive.
Trying to get the Drowsy onto Temtem. There it is. The Deathmark comes out, but then he goes immediately to sleep. And he will take a big ol' laser to the face, and the Zed will get dropped in the 1v3. Nobody there to help him. And that is just in time for a Herald fight as well. Man advantage for Ragnarok right now. We've got Wolfman down here in the 1v2. His support has left him to go and contest the objective with the rest of the team. But Ashe looks like she's able to keep herself quite safe for now. It does mean we have the man advantage up here on the top side, but Reflect getting a lot of damage down immediately onto the Jax. Death Sense connects, though. A lot of damage back onto the jungler now. Rengoku in trouble. The watch out Eat comes through, burning down, and that is the kill onto the Karthus. Nice and far away from the objective. While they're trying to steal it, though, did he get the eye? Did he steal it away? Oh, no, it will be just barely Discrepancy able to secure that one, and now Reflect in a position he absolutely didn't want to be in. Flashing forward as Temtem has the Ignite ticking. Is it enough? The Honey Fruit saves the Lilia, who does not go down. Discrepancy will survive, and now Temtem used everything just to fall as well. He's going to try and get one back desperately onto Ethereal, but the barrier will keep Lux alive. Casey down here in the bot lane, able to finish off Ashe, though. So Wolfman not able to stay alive in the 1v2. Wanted to try and collect the CS under the turret. but wasn't able to survive against both the Varus and the Zyra ultimates coming out. But still, really, really big for the side of Ragnarok up on the top side, winning out in the fight and getting the objective, Tiger.
Yeah, I think that the trade with the bot lane plates going down isn't going to make it worthwhile, but at least Ethereal Ice with a big damage calc there to be able to put down the barrier and just barely survive off of that 1v1. Temtem with the best shot there at trying to turn that fight around. But I think that the macro decision to have Phantom roam around is correct, even if it's going to drop some plates and even result in Wolfman getting killed. It's just a difficult spot to do anything out of that lane, so as a support, you want to go around the map and find value elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think it worked out really well for him overall. I mean, yes, Ashe did die, but Phantom was able to get a lot of work done up in the top side, able to help out the team up there, so I think well worth it. And they're going to get the Herald charge now into the top tier 1. It's going to be the target. So they want to get this money onto the Jax. They want to get him in a position where he can win out in the side lane. Bear is asleep. Bear taking a lot of damage. Stormbringer for the counter engage, but so low. He's just going to burn down to the dot. Discrepancy picks up number 3. He's on a killing spree. They're going to be able to do a lot of work up here to this tier 1 turret.
Yeah, I like this. They're investing the gold into the Jax, trying to get towards that late game. Akuma had a little bit of a rough go of it in the early stages, but now picking up the plates gonna mean that the gold has swung back in the favor of the Jax. And meanwhile, Ethereal Ice just picking up a bunch of kills off of these trades as well, has actually swung the matchup in the mid lane pretty well in favor of Ragnarok Skoll. So despite everything that they're leaking in the bot side, it's just about even overall.
Yeah, the gold definitely quite even. 8-8 is the scoreboard. Oh, that enchanted crystal arrow is just wide left. The Tangled Thorns will connect, and so will the Chain of Corruption. The arrow going to land there as well. The flash forward for Phantom to try and catch Casey off guard, but the Varus will backstep in time. That actually did force the flash out from Casey. So nice move there from Phantom to get an advantageous summoner trade. Valkyrie going to throw out the Tangled Thorns, which means no ultimate now on the Zyra. The Requiem comes out. Ashe is very, very low. Might burn down to the Leandries. Ethereal Ice here with the Sky Laser, not able to connect onto Casey, and now Discrepancy may be in some trouble here. When is the arrow off cooldown? Lilia will survive. Swirl Seed onto the Zyra, but Zed, Temtem coming down here, and the arrow is going to shut down Discrepancy as well. Absolutely massive. Temtem going for one more with the Death Mark, but he can't find an Ethereal Ice with the outplay. And now a little bit of damage back. Varus gets one more onto the support. Ethereal Ice going golden, buying a little bit more time. Can he sidestep the hail of arrows? He can't. It's a triple kill for Casey. The Varus 7-0. Trying to carry the Bandana Brawlers towards game 3. Akuma now trying to make good on his lead in the top lane. Has the level advantage. Don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Reflect still so strong here on the Bear. Interesting. Check out that Mythic on the Jax Tiger.
Already going to be completing that protein. It's Jack Show. I think that's the name, right? Jack Show the protein. So that one going to make him a lot tankier, but doesn't really help out so much on the damage front. So I'm expecting the rest of the items to look like Bork, maybe going for a Ravenous Hydra, something like that.
Okay, he's got the stun. He's going to have Leap Strike back in a second here, but the healing from the W is too much. He can't go into the turret. Akuma will push back the Bear, but he's losing CS to his tower to go for that trade. Clearly wanted a little bit more. Wasn't able to find it. Now Phantom will be fine.
All right. With the first 2 Drakes having gone down, now we can see that it's going to be the
Oh, the Tangle Thorns. Oh, the Leap Strike back over to the support to safety. Close one there for Akuma.
Going to be the Chemtech Soul, so this one helps with the healing and shielding, I believe. So that would be really big to pick up for Ragnarok Skoll. Would help out the Lux W, would help out the Thresh W. I think that there isn't anything that it would help out with for the side of Banana Brawlers, so we'll see if they end up picking it up. A little bit unfortunate there for them that their first 2 stacked is not going to do so much work for them. But still, I think that it's worthwhile to pick up the soul and get on towards that
Oh,
Elder.
the flash. Oh, the death sentence hits the minion, but the flay backwards should still be enough. The Lucent Singularity comes out, Ethereal Ice secures the kill, and now Casey exhausted, but his jungler is here, enough to turn it around. The death sentence goes wide, but the double sleep coming through for Discrepancy and absolutely wallops him with the stick. It's going to be a couple more kills coming through now for Ragnarok as Reflect trying to turn this one around with the Stormbringer, and Akuma will just drop. Oh, man, the Jax really thought that he maybe had the advantage at this point, but he absolutely didn't. And Reflect continues to win out in the 1v1.
Yeah, Jack Show not going to give you the type of 1v1 capacity that you would get from something like a Trinity Force or even rushing Bork. So that's a little bit of an unfortunate fight to try to go for. Volibear with ultimate still going to be the stronger top laner here. But the mid lane fight, that looked really good for Ragnarok Skoll. Big shutdown, 1,000 gold going over to Ethereal Ice. And keeping the gold within reachable distance. 2k is the gold advantage for Banana Brawlers right now. They've got the lead, and I think that they've got the tools to push it forward a little bit more. But once again, if you let Jax get to late game, this is going to be a problem. So got to see it. Banana Brawlers continuing to move forward with this.
Yeah, they are looking to put themselves on Chemtech's soul points. That is a death sentence connecting, though. Phantom gonna allow a little bit of damage to come down here onto Toxic Valkyrie. The Sky Laser will connect, and Zyra is extremely low. Discrepancy gonna drop the second herald in the mid lane for pressure. I believe they're already onto the dragon, though. We're watching the top lane 1v1, but that Volibear is almost certainly going to win again. Meanwhile, the dragon fight, I think, is what we really care about. The flash in, it is secured by the side of the Banana Brawlers, but they're going to have to give up their jungler for it. Rengoku goes down, but they did get themselves on the Chemtech soul point, Tiger.
Yeah, good call to get out after that first kill for Ragnarok Skoll, but as you say, Soul Point going to be available here for the side of Banana Brawlers. They're going to be able to push towards... I think that the next thing that they need to push towards is the mid-tier one. If they can take the mid-tier one out, then they're going to be in a really good spot.
Oh, yeah, Wolfman. That's just, Zed found you in the jungle. Unlucky. As now Casey could be in some trouble. Both AD carries potentially going to get taken out. Has the cleanse, though. So the Varus will be safe. And now the Requiem coming out. Looking for a kill onto Akuma, potentially. Phantom there with the Lantern. A little bit of shielding going to prevent that Jax from going down. He has a lot of resistances from the Mythic as well. Wasn't as close as it initially looked.
Yeah, so that's going to be all right. But nice job from Kais, able to get out. Able to once again trade the cleanse for an enemy flash. So I think that there's been a lot of emphasis on just trying to all in the enemy ADC from Ragnarok Skoll, but a lot of the times it's just been answered. Even in game number 1, it's been difficult to get onto Kais, and this time around it's going to be that much more punishing if they can.
Yeah, definitely. They have managed to take him out once now. You know, that was that big shutdown that you mentioned a little bit earlier on. But they will need to do it again, probably a couple more times, if they do want to emerge victorious here in the second game and make it to 2-0, as we were discussing earlier. And they are looking for a collapse right now onto Reflect's Volibear, who just finished off the tier 1 turret. Looking like he's going to be able to make his way out. Yes, not really in too much danger. Had some nice vision in the river there as well to see the danger coming. And now that opened up a little bit of a pressure vacuum in the mid lane, but that's an Enchanted Crystal Arrow connecting, which does mean a dead Zyra. Toxic Valkyrie goes down, which means our kill score is all tied up at 14.
Yeah, Wolfman's just been tossing them out. They haven't been connecting, but it only takes one.
Oh, that's a flash in for Reflect. Wants a lot of damage onto the mid laner here. Ethereal Ice gonna flash away, gonna toss out the big laser. Wolfman in trouble, though. Temtem gonna take him out. So there goes the AD carry. It's a 4v3 now in the mid lane in favor of the Banana Brawlers as they crash another wave. Got a Canyon minion here. Oh, but Reflect taking a lot of magic damage. Oh, Lullaby was available there for Discrepancy. I'm surprised he didn't want to go for it. It would have only been onto the bear, but might have been able to find a little bit more damage to take him out. Regardless, it will just be the defense for Ragnarok.
Yeah, meanwhile, Akuma able to push in that wave in the top lane, though. So probably pretty even trade. They're able to keep the mid tier 1 up as well. So Ragnarok Skoll going to be doing all right off of the back of that one.
Yeah. Wolfman keeps getting picked off, though. I mean, it's tough, right? When you're playing against a composition like this with Zed. Oh, goodness. Oh, right as I said it.
One kill going over. Just going to continue to push.
That's so much damage now from the Zyra as well. A massive amount of CC, but there was no follow-up. So they're just going to get the Zyra there. Temtem dashing away with the Shadow.
Yeah, gonna be all right there. Not going. It's just a trade 1-for-1 at the end of the day. Flash is burned by Wolfman and Temtem, but the invade works out to a decent extent. It's giving up. At this point, that's a trade of supports because honestly, Phantom is doing a better job of being a carry right now than Wolfman. But Wolfman kind of playing the role of the support pretty decently, just throwing out those enchanted crystal arrows, trying to set up a play.
It will be Casey, though, with some more solo gold as he picks up the tier 1 in mid by himself. 300 more gold onto the Varus. Already closing in on 3 items over there, whereas Ash just has a Kraken Slayer and a Kindle Gem.
Yeah, talk about luxury items, a QSS built for Kais. So if it was hard to kill him on Cleanse, now he's got a QSS to back it up. So that's double
plus the
cleanse
shield
available.
bow, yeah. As the top laners continue to scuffle in the topside jungle, this is Chemtech's soul for the Banana Brawlers. If they can secure it, would be absolutely massive for their chances of pushing us to game 3 tonight. And it looks like Discrepancy is not even going to go for the steal. It's alive now, and the jungler is nowhere near the objective. He's just looking for a kill on a Temtem, and with the assistance of the Crystal Arrow, he will be able to find it. But they've given over Chem Soul, and now we will get to see, Tiger, what the power of this new soul looks like.
Yeah, I'm still of the impression that for the team comp that has been assembled here by Banana Brawlers, it's not going to be all that helpful. Ooh. But it does mean that Elder is spawning in 6 minutes, so that's kind of the big part here. That's the opportunity to find an end game that Banana Brawlers are looking for. So we'll see if they get any additional value. There's definitely some stats coming in from the Chemtech Drake, but I think that that's just about it.
Just to clarify here, Tiger, the buffs that are given to you by securing the individual Chemtech Drakes are, of course, the increases to healing and shielding power, but the actual soul is actually a buff that, while below 50% health, gain 10% damage resist and deal 10% increased damage. You really think that's not very effective for the Banana Brawlers composition?
I mean, that's useful on any composition. I still think that they get one shot by a lot of hope, but that's a lot better than what I was thinking it was.
Yeah, okay. Graph Reflect in some trouble over here. He's going to be going to sleep. He's going to be taking himself a little nap. And now he's stunned up, but he hits the blast cone at a very appropriate time. He's going to look to run his way out of this one. The Swirl Seed connects, but he's got some reinforcements. Oh no, the light binding over the wall into the laser. And Rengoku just gets one shot from out of vision. The bear did escape, but at the cost of his jungler. And now Baron is alive. 24 minutes in, it's looking like the side of Ragnarok wants to go for it. A good ultimate from Toxic Valkyrie gets Akuma extremely low. Wolfman taking the Baron. He's got taking a lot of damage now on the Ashe as well. Valkyrie still being a nuisance off on the side. You got Temtem split pushing in the bottom lane. A teleport in for the Bear. Wolfman gonna go down to the Baron. Oh no, it was actually Toxic Valkyrie. Ended up getting the kill credit as well. So a little bit of a blunder there for the Ragnarok marksman. Gives over a kill, and now they absolutely have to disengage from the objective. And meanwhile, Zed secured a tier 2 in the bottom lane for free.
I thought we were going to have something there, but I think that the big part of that play is that trying to force that Baron after getting a couple picks, it seems like the right idea, but at the end of the day, behind by 5.5k gold, it's just a little bit too much to look for. And then giving up something cross-map as well, it's just an unfortunate situation all around for Ragnarok Skoll. They're going to be falling further behind off of the back of it, and
Yeah.
they really need the game to last quite a bit longer now to put themselves in a situation where they can find the right answer, but they have to fight in 3 minutes to make sure not to give over Elder.
Yeah, it's a really difficult position for them now. Still only level 13 for Akuma. He's just finished his second item. But Volibear already has the Bramble Vest completed. He's incredibly tanky over there on the bear. So Jack's still not winning out in that side lane. Chemtech Soul already given over to the opposition, and they are just continuing to lose out in these fights for the most part. Toxic Valkyrie has been such a nuisance here on this Zyra. Really just, I mean, he was the main reason why they weren't able to do the Baron, right? Just too much poke damage meant that they weren't able to stay on the objective safely.
Yeah. So that continues to be an issue, and that's kind of the nice thing about Zyra is that you could just keep reapplying, and you can just put plants up everywhere and put down the Leandry's damage, and that's just gonna poke out like 10 to 15% health each time that you can proc it. So that's going to always be a nuisance at the beginning of the fight, as you're saying. But the other side of it is that there's not a whole lot left to take out on the map without going for the all-in push towards the base. And now Barabee has started up again?
Yeah, they won it again. Oh, they got an arrow onto Temtem. He's forced to go for the death mark extremely early. Not able to get that much damage out. He's running towards his reinforcements, though, flashing towards his team. The Chain of Corruption will go wide, and the Skylays are over the top. Ethereal Ice gets the kill onto the jungler again, but they trade back for the top laner. Temtem extremely low on the backside. He's forced to disengage on the Zed, so it looks like it'll just be the 1-for-1, and nothing else will materialize in this fight.
Yeah, as long as we keep trading, that's just getting us later into the game, so that's probably what Ragnarok Skoll want. But now Discrepancy could be in trouble if the dive is going to come out here.
Yeah, they're starting to push forward. This is Elder in 45 seconds now, Tiger. This is that break point that you were talking about earlier. This is when Ragnarok need to show us an answer. They need to have some way of contesting this objective. If you give over double Uber buffs, it's pretty much just lights out.
Yeah, we'll see if it can find a contest. They've tried multiple times to start up Baron, and it would be something that they could go towards again and try to like trade cross map. But I think that at the end of the day, we're going to see a contest to Elder because the Baron take hasn't been fast enough, and they keep getting poked off of it. But it seems like a pretty desperate play to fight the Elder once again because they're just behind by so much gold, 7,000.
Yeah, it's a really, really huge lead for the side of Banana Brawlers. They've started up the objective. It's going down relatively quickly. Discrepancy trying to make his way in, but taking so much damage from the Zed. He's going to go golden to immune the death mark. The death sentence connects onto the Zed as well. We got the sleep getting cast now, but the Elder already secured, and that is going to end it as the dragon lasers rain down from the sky to complement the Karthus laser. And with the 3-for-0, with the Elder buff, I think that the Banana Brawlers can walk it in and take the second Nexus.
Yeah, so that will push us to a game 3 here. And I think that just a well-played game all around from Banana Brawlers. They're able to come out and respond in kind after we saw a strong performance in game number 1 from Ragnarok Skoll. So that means that we're going to have a very nice conclusion to our series.
Oh, yes.
Teams closing out one game strong.
We love the full match, although it looks like that Ragnarok is not done with this one quite yet. They're actually able... Oh, no. Akuma gets taken out by the Elder Dragon, but Casey flashing forward a little bit aggressively. That's the jungler going to be taken down. And now Wolfman flashing away from the Tangled Thorns. Toxic Valkyrie going to go down next. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Did it connect? It looks like it went just wide. So Karthus barely making it out on a sliver of health, and Casey able to escape as well, using both summoners. Varus lucky to get out. I think his top laner died for his sins a little bit there. And the Nexus will stand, as well as one Nexus turret. Ragnarok not saying die just yet. I guess we called it a bit early, Tiger. as they're going to look to
Oh.
get the mid 1 or the tier 1 mid as a result of that slight overextension from the Brawlers.
Yeah, this is the spot where earlier in the game I would have thought, well, are we going Baron now as well? But it seems that they're going to not go that direction because it's just been so hard for them to take the Baron without getting totally collapsed on. And this is
Oh,
exactly why.
yeah, the double burn build for the Karthus plus the Dark Harvest as well. Or actually, it's the first strike Karthus. My mistake there. But certainly more than enough damage, regardless, to take out Wolfman there, unfortunately. 2 and 10, not a great game on the Ashe. And with the 5v4, Baron should be a very comfortable, secure... Oh, it was actually the Elder buff that Rengoku still had. That was what actually finished him off. I forgot that the Karthus didn't go down in that last fight. But yes, that will be the Baron buff now. And surely, Tiger, this must be the end of the game.
Well, we'll see, I guess. We got full ultimates available for the
Ethereal Eyes
Ragnarok
going
Skoll.
golden. The Crystal Arrow connects onto the mid laner. Temtem. Oh, he wasn't stunned for long enough. Goes back to his shadow. Takes out the Lux. 5v4 now. Once again, only one Nexus turret remaining. Phantom already low. Reflecting, go ahead and disable that one. So, functionally 0 Nexus turrets. It's Akuma, the last stand, the flash in. Not able to get anything done. The jungler can't make it happen either. Not able to survive. And it will indeed be the second Nexus for the Banana Brawlers, as the second seed will push the third seed to Game 3.
Yeah, the Elder buff ran out right at the end of that fight, but it's going to be no matter, as it's going to be Banana Brawlers taking out game number 2. They're able to look a lot cleaner there, and Kais able to get the early advantage in the bot lane and push it on towards being 11-1-7 at the end of the game as the Varus. So a very well played game there, and just more excitement as this game 3 coming up in this series should be a big finish to what's been a pretty closely played series so far.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. It has been 2 games in a row with Casey and Toxic getting a big advantage down there in the bot lane. Here in Game 2, they were able to hold on to it. The on-hit Varus build did plenty of work. It was actually Karthus, though, that comfortably had the most damage in this one, sitting, coasting in there at 31,000 for Rengoku. So that was 2 games in a row that the jungler by far had the most damage on the team. So, yeah, great stuff from the Brawlers, able to fight back in this one. And from the side of Ragnarok, honestly, we talked about the scaling elements, the fact that they had the Jax that they could potentially split push through, but Akuma was never really able to get it off the ground. He didn't really have a split push build. He had more of a team fighting build on a split push champion, and it just didn't really work out. But yeah, what do you think about that game 2? What are your thoughts?
I think that the Karthus pick did a lot of work there. Obviously, being tops of the damage charts makes that an easy comment to say. But I think that having that pick represented in the draft is a big play going forward in the series, because you have to find some answer to Karthus. You can't just leave Karthus up and let Karthus do the same thing in game number 3, or else you're just going to be looking at the same result. So I'm looking to see what Ragnarok Skoll is going to respond with, how they're going to counteract the presence of the Karthus. Maybe they just ban it away, but I think that makes the draft look a lot more interesting.
Absolutely. We have the question of side selection to consider as well. Will, of course, be Ragnarok that have the selection for Game 3 for our third and final game. But we'll be getting to that soon, guys. Do you have an MVP? Did we do an MVP for Game 1, Tiger? I actually don't remember.
An MVP for Game 1, but MVP Game 2 definitely got to be Kais. Just so strong on the Varus. I'll go back to Game 1 and say that good discrepancy was the MVP there on the 5.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I guess we forgot to do that before, but definitely the junglers have had some really strong performances, but Casey as well, down there in the bot lane. Really, really powerful stuff we'll see if they can keep it going, if they can make good on their bye week and punch their ticket to the semis, or if Ragnarok Skoll will have something else to say about it. Don't go anywhere, guys. The exciting conclusion to tonight's playoff match will be hitting your monitors right after this short break. Hello again, everybody. Getting ready to get into a Game 3 draft now. We are switching sides once again, I believe, here for our third and final game of the night. We do have Ragnarok Skoll back on the red side, and the Banana Brawlers returning to the blue. So, red side, the preferred side tonight, and it has received both of the victories thus far, Tiger.
Yeah, having that counter pick pretty effective. I mean, we saw the Zed last pick last game. It ended up being maybe the least effective of all the picks, but still able to set up a very strong comp out of the red side. Banana Brawlers able to use that to high effect in game number 2. And then game number 1, obviously, Ragnarok Skull were able to get that massive dive comp set up together. So I think that I'd like to see Ragnarok Skull go back to something similar to what they had in game number 1. I kind of like both game 1 team comps better than either game 2 team comp, but I think that Banana Brawlers representing a lot of those aggressive early game picks is making this draft something that I would give them a better favor in. Although banning some of these champions away could be the answer from Ragnarok Skull.
Yeah, definitely. The Zyra going to be removed. Don't want that to be first picked. Karth is still open. Number of other things available as well. The Vi will be denied from discrepancy once again to try and prevent him from having another one of those game 1 performances. And there goes the Lilia. So Lilia also cannot be first picked, which does leave the Karthus available. Was R1 on red side for the Brawlers last game. See if they want to prioritize it from blue side as well.
I think it's going to be Belveth picked up by Ragnarok. As the response. Whatever gets picked up here, I don't think it will. Oh, the Heimerdinger left open by the band, so that makes up. Well, that kind of does the exact same thing in the support role as Zyra does, so that's going to look very similar in playstyle. Yeah. But I think that with the jungle pool being pinched some more, playing around discrepancy seems like a reasonable choice for a Ragnarok Skull after what we've seen in the first couple of games. We'll see if they delay the jungle pick for later.
It will be very interesting. The Heimerdinger first pick was banned in both of the previous games by Ragnarok, but this time around they wanted to ban away the Zyra and the Lilia, leaving the Heimerdinger open. So it was a known priority pick for the Banana Brawlers that Ragnarok were forced to leave open for this third and final game, and it was taken as B1. And now Ragnarok going to answer with the Tristana and potentially a support here as well to try and hide the rest of their picks. The Maokai making his return to the Rift, so a flex pick to finish off their first couple on the red side.
Yeah, Maokai looked really good in game number 1. They picked it as a flex pick before, but I think that they always intended it to go to support, and Phantom looked very good on it, so I wouldn't be upset at all to see Phantom back on the Maokai. I think the saplings are decent into Heimerdinger turrets as well, so we'll see if that ends up being an interaction that plays out a lot. Heimerdinger also a flexible champion, doesn't have to be in the support role.
True.
So we'll see if that ends up going towards the carry position or even towards top lane. But no, Ashe Heimerdinger is definitely a bot lane that I would expect to see. So Banana Brawlers picking up some pretty strong stuff that we saw a lot at Worlds.
Yeah, really strong lane bully 2v2 there for the Banana Brawlers. And the Sylas, a fantastic pick into the Maokai as well. So love what they've put together so far. Ragnarok going to need to come up with something clever here. The Vex, an interesting answer. I guess that's Ethereal Ice's counterpick into the Sylas. I'm not sure how I feel about it though, Tiger. What are your thoughts?
Vex definitely works with the dive comp. Tristana does too, so we could be seeing a return to that type of feel. Shen obviously going to be banned out, so it's going to be a little bit different, but there's still a lot of top laners that can go along with the dive pretty well. still some junglers available. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like Trundle or Sejuani available here potentially. Maokai can still be flexed around as well. But holding that counter pick for top lane is what I'm really expecting to see. So maybe we're going to show the jungle picks coming up here.
Yeah, some jungle picks removed by Ragnarok from red side, and his top laners targeted by the Banana Brawlers. So, yeah, I do expect a jungle lock-in to come in here. The Wukong, another nice team fighter. Can definitely be a good dive buddy to go in with the Vex, cause a lot of chaos, get a lot of CC down, a lot of damage. Seems like a pretty solid choice. But the Banana Brawlers do have a pretty formidable composition so far. Maybe just a little bit more front line from the top lane, and then some playmaking in the jungle. I think could round things out pretty nicely. Let's see what they decide to go for.
Yeah, I think that a big point of emphasis here, as a difference from game number 1, is that Banana Brawlers have a lot of stuff that's good into dive. It's very difficult to dive against a Heimerdinger, against a Sylas. It's going to be the Sejuani top, which is also very difficult to dive. Xin Zhao, strong early jungler. And Banana Brawlers, I really like the adaptation here. This is a better comp than I think they had in game number 2. But it's also a comp that works better into what Ragnarok Skoll have been doing well than what they had in game number 1.
Yeah, I think it's a really strong composition here for the Banana Brawlers. It's a great game for Sejuani, right? You've got melee jungler, melee mid laner. You can stack up that Sejuani E very, very effectively. And the R5 counter pick into the Sejuani top will be the Mordekaiser for Ragnarok, for Akuma. Had a rough game too, but on the Mordekaiser now. Could be very threatening up there against the Sejuani. Mordekaiser, the master of metal, is known to be very good in all tank matchups, really. So I expect him to be very comfortable up there. What do you think about that R5 pick, Tiger?
I really like the Mordekaiser here because it really shakes up how team fights look. By being able to remove someone from the team fight, then you're able to put yourself in a better situation, whether it's going to be the Ashe, the Heimerdinger, even potentially taking the Xin Zhao away if there's a spot where you get a little bit out of hand, or be able to smite fight without the enemy jungler is always good too. So having the Mordekaiser ult I think is really big. And I like how it changes them to be able to pick as well as
Yeah, that's another thing that Mordekaiser can absolutely bring to the table, right? Is being able to take out those high priority targets. Like if you can just remove Heimerdinger from the fight, then all of a sudden all that anti-dive, all of that peeling goes away, right? And then you have your Wukong and your Vex can potentially dive in there and look for the big play onto the marksman, onto any low HP members that were being protected by the Heimerdinger turrets by the zone control. So it does seem like a pretty good pick. I think it's going to work relatively well into what the Banana Brawlers have together. But again, I want to reiterate that I do think the Banana Brawlers composition is really, really powerful. I do love what they have here. They have a lot of AoE, a lot of utility from the Ashe, from the Heimerdinger, and then some really, really strong frontline, some bruisers to sort of do the heavy lifting, I think, in these fights, which aren't necessarily going to be that susceptible to dive, right? From Wukong, from Vex. You know, Wukong can scrap with the best of them, but Vex really has more burst damage. It's going to have a hard time going 100 to 0 on somebody like Sylas or Xin Zhao.
Yeah, I do really think that the Vex is going to have a lot more value now that I see the rest of the draft playing out. Sejuani, Xin Zhao, both champs with dashes picked later in the draft.
Yeah,
so I think that as the draft progressed, Vex is going to be good in the lane against Sylas, but the later stages of the game are going to look better because of the other champions that got picked up. And you don't want to avoid picking dashes just because the enemy team has the Vex, but the power of the Vex raises against champions that have the dashes because of her passive. So I think that Ragnarok Skoll have a winning top lane, a winning mid lane, and then they have a bot lane that probably scales better because Tristana late game just has
So I
huge
go.
range. And
Yeah.
getting that late game range is going to be so valuable when you're up against
The
especially
weak
a
fear the
Heimerdinger, but
shadows.
also like Silas
Fear
and Sejuani.
controls them.
Being able to kite them is pretty huge. So
Mhm.
if we get to late game, I
Let
favor
me at 'em.
Ragnarok Skoll, and I think that they're better in the early stages of the game as well. But Banana Brawlers have a very strong bottom side of the map, and their mid game is very strong as well.
All right, Tiger. So here's a question for you. Before, like right at the beginning of the draft, you were calling for Ragnarok to return to what worked for them in game number 1. Do you think that they were able to accomplish that with these 5 champions?
Yeah, I mean, going straight towards that Maokai did a lot of work to set up the dive comp, but getting the Wukong, Vex, Tristana, that's all huge. But I also like that they made the adaptation. Oh, it's Mordekaiser jungle. All right, that's a little bit different. Oh, they're swapping them around on me. I'll wait until it locks in then. But I think that it's a lot different of a look to be able to have the Mordekaiser than the Shen. And I think that adaptation helps them out a lot more here to make so that the enemy adaptations are less effective.
Yeah, definitely. So if they are returning then to the kind of draft that they had in game 1, game 2 obviously was a little bit different, where they were trying to play through the side lane, and they had all this zone control with the Ashe for themselves, and they were kind of trying to play things out a little bit slower, but then they ended up taking some fights that maybe they shouldn't have. But now they're back to dive. They're back to sort of having these winning lanes, these priority picks that are going to be powerful, as you were just discussing earlier, pretty much at all stages of the game. So it's looking really good for Ragnarok. As we've discussed these compositions, I think we are in agreement here, Tiger, that both have some really strong points, and both compositions have a lot that can be said for them. But overall, do you prefer one over the other? Do you want to give us that one last prediction tonight?
I'm not going to predict a winner because the first 2 times I've cursed the team that I said would win. But I will say that I prefer the composition that's been drafted by Ragnarok Skoll just a little bit, because I think that they team fight better.
He's 2 powerful guys. He has to measure his words very carefully, so that we don't unfairly impact the outcome of the game. But I think overall, I agree with you. The Ashe Heimerdinger is very threatening, and the Silas does have a lot to work with. With the Maokai, the Vex, pretty good to steal. Wukong, not bad. Even Mordekaiser can, I think, situationally be good for Silas to steal. But I do think that Ragnarok, the return to what worked for them in game number 1, is exactly what the doctor ordered. They did have a couple of high moments in game 2, despite the fact that they were losing for most of it, and did seem like they were maybe a little bit outdrafted. But they definitely had a couple of looks where they had some good moments in that game. And I think with this composition, they're going to be much more comfortable, and they should be able to bounce back and end up taking the match. But it'll be interesting to watch. It really is anybody's game. The Banana Brawlers have momentum coming out of game 2. Maybe the bot lane prio is all they need. Casey is almost certainly going to have that early game advantage for the 3rd game in a row, and he might be able to use that to carry the game once again. It's certainly a possibility. We're just going to have to wait until we get onto the Rift to find out. Anything else you want to touch on before we go to break, Tiger?
Always good to have a series go to its full extent. I'm excited for these 2 teams. Hopefully it's a good one.
I expect that it will be. Don't go anywhere, guys. The exciting conclusion to the Rumble stage in the Piltover division for Season 13 will occur right after this. Hello once again, Style fans. Welcome back. Thank you for returning to the Rift with us for our third and final game of the evening, Ragnarok. Back to the blue, or Banana Brawlers, excuse me, back to the blue side, and Ragnarok on the red, which does, of course, mean that the scoreboard at the top of the screen is wrong, and I have to go and fix it for you again. Tiger, take over.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what more information I could get about the jungle companions. Last game we had one of the blue one and one of the green one. First game and this game we had double reds. This one's apparently called Scorch Claw. I looked it up and I was trying to figure out if the name was still Noxie and Ember Cat. But it looks like it's just called Scorch Claw now, which is just fine. But other than naming the jungle pets, you could call him Steven if you want, I guess. But
You really could. Should we call him Steven?
Sure. Let's call the Scorch Claw
Sounds
Steven.
nice. He looks like a Steven.
Steven is the aggressive one that lets you have player combat with your smite once you get 20 stacks. So let's do that. Let's have some player combat between these junglers.
Okay, well, Phantom looking like he might want some combat, walking very aggressively into the Mad Scientist there. But Heimerdinger just going to put down a turret and walk away very, very easily. Phantom not going to be looking for any kind of all-in at level 1. He only has one of his 2 abilities that he needs for that, or possibly 0 if we started Sapling. Yeah, this is what Heimerdinger does. Toxic Valkyrie just going to walk forward, put down the turrets, and force Tristana and Maokai to stand under their tier 1 turret and wait for the minion wave. Very fun and interactive there for the Ragnarok bot duo.
Yep, so it should be a pretty quiet early stage of the game. I think the only thing that I'm seeing that could cause some interest
Casey in
here
some
is that-
trouble, potentially. Discrepancy has found Ashe all by herself in the jungle. Heimerdinger did not want to go on this little adventure, and perhaps for good reason, as Casey did not have the start to Game 3 that they were looking for. Now Temtem going to be pushed away by Ethereal Ice as well. First Blood going over to Discrepancy on the Wukong. That's exactly what the Ragnarok fans were hoping for.
A bit of a strange venture there from Kais to walk up, trying to get that deep ward, but found out a little bit too much information with that ward.
Yeah.
Discrepancy going to be able to find that first blood, and going to have that available to help if we do get any of those jungler skirmishes going down. And it looks like we might already be going that direction.
Yeah, we have Maokai making his way up on a little adventure now into the mid lane. That's Reflect charging forward aggressively. Going to be able to land an E here, but now is completely out of mana. The Death Grasp going to pull him back. Sejuani will have to flash here. Doesn't. Oh, now will. At the last possible second, Reflect goes for the flash and will be able to keep himself alive.
Akuma no flash to follow it up, but Discrepancy trying to set up a potential dive here.
Oh, going in with the audacious charge. The grasp pulled back. Rengoku gonna get the knock up here. Oh, but Akuma has the shield. Gotta back off now, though. Can't get stunned up the flash forward. Rengoku, the wind. It becomes lightning, and Mordekaiser becomes dust.
Yeah, Discrepancy trying to go for the under tower dive, but out of that tri-brush, there's not really any angle to get back into the lane, so a little bit of an unfortunate situation to be camping the lane, but not able to assist in the fight. And Akuma going down means that Rengoku going to have the kill to match Discrepancy's early kill at this point.
Yeah, we've been able to tie things up at 1-1. Both early kills on the junglers. Steven is similarly satiated on both sides as well. Only a 2-camp lead for Rengoku at the moment. Reflex, got to be careful here. We'll be able to back off.
Yeah, Akuma able to set up this wave in a good spot. I think it's going to slow push forward here, but that's going to be an alright spot for it to be in off the back end of getting killed early on.
Temtem has the level advantage, going for a little bit of a 1v1 here, but I think Ethereal Ice under the turret, no problem. And we are under the dragon for the rest of Ragnarok down here in the bot side river as Valkyrie forced to flash away to stay alive. Casey making his way into the fight now, but Phantom has Twisted Advance available. Could go for a play here, potentially. Could look for a turn, but a lot of damage comes out. The grenade lands, and Tristana gets taken out just like that. It's Temtem running down from the mid lane, flashing into the fight, and Kit picking up a double kill for himself. As Akuma now is taking some unfavorable trades here in the top lane. And it's going to be the Dragon going over to the side of the Banana Brawlers in the end. It was Ragnarok starting it up, but it will be the Brawlers that finish it. As Akuma has the level 6, put him in the Death Realm. There it is. Sejuani has no way out here. One more Q is going to finish off the Ice Boar. Ooh, the Flail almost actually gets the kill back instead. And the Death Realm is expired now. But Reflect is trapped on the wrong side of the lane. He can't get past the Mordekaiser. The Mace comes down, the Obliterate. Oh, the Arctic Assault. Is it enough? Reflect desperately trying, needs a little bit more damage. He can't do it. He can't make it happen. Akuma buys enough time for Discrepancy to get into the top lane and pick up his second of the game.
Yeah, Discrepancy not caught on the wrong side of a wall that time, and Reflect goes down, evening up how the top lane's looking. But with the wave crashing here as well, no teleport available for Reflect. Akuma's going to get a really preferable back here, going to be able to get back to lane and have it in a good spot yet again, which means that more jungle help is going to be required on the top side of the map. And this is becoming a serious issue. Oh, all in from Wolfman.
Oh, that's the explosive charge. Should be more than enough. The cleanse comes through from Wolfman. It's not! Oh, the charge does detonate, and the Tristana does get the kill, but Casey easily answers it back. But here comes Ethereal Ice with the Shadow Surge. The Ignite comes down, and the Ash is going to get taken out. Temtem cannot find the chains, but the turret shot will not miss, as Phantom gets taken out on the back end of that one. Shadow Surge thinking about going back in as Ethereal Ice, but low mana means that's not a fight that he wants.
Yeah, and it's hard to 1v1 a Silas anyways, so probably the right decision there not to go back in, but good roam from Ethereal Ice, able to get out onto the map first. Make it a 2-for-2 in the bot lane. Temtem may be the biggest beneficiary, though. 2-0-0 on the Silas now.
Yeah.
Going to be in a very good spot. But once again, Akuma is starting to be a pretty big leader here in the top side of the map. You can see the CS lead expanding to 15 now. The Rift Herald's being started up here by Rengoku. We'll see if that ends up being another spot to get gold, but Phantom on the roam.
Yeah, Maokai making his way into the mid lane once again. Looking to get a little bit of revenge on this Silas. Temtem has the stolen Nature's Grasp, though. Could disengage this at any time. And Ethereal Ice and Phantom not going to overcommit for it. The Herald was indeed collected by Rengoku's Xin Zhao, as Reflect gets pulled back by the Death's Grasp. Obliterate will connect as well. Shadow Realm available for Akuma, not going to go for it just yet. Flash available for Reflect, as well as the ultimate, the Glacial Prison. It's going to be Temtem going in. At the Stolen Maokai ultimate forces the flash immediately out of the enemy mid laner. And now Discrepancy here for potentially a counter engage. Has the Cyclone, going to go in with the Nimbus Strike, going to look for it. But Temtem dashing underneath the turret will be able to keep himself safe. And now Akuma throws down the Death Realm and Reflect out of mana. Nothing he can do. Mordekaiser wins those. And Akuma picks up his first in Game 3.
Yeah, more schooling on the wave management and top lane going on. The other side of the map, things going more favorably here for Banana Brawlers. We'll see where this Rift Herald goes. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go bot lane. Try to set up some more Drake stacking. First one already gone over to Banana Brawlers.
Ooh, Rengoku going in with the charge. Phantom with the disengage with the Bramble Smash. He's fine. But I got baited. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It happens to the best of us. Interestingly, it's going to be Immortal Shield Bow for Kais. We saw last game in the Ash from Wolfman going for that Kraken Slayer instead, but this time Kais trying to be a little bit more resilient and give more opportunity to put out some of that utility. I think that makes a lot of sense here, but it will take away some of the DPS.
Yeah, should be plenty of damage, right? From the Heimerdinger, the Silas, the Xin Zhao, all going to have plenty of damage. It's going to be it looks like the Gore Drinker Xin Zhao, so a little bit more of a bruiser build. I'm not going to go for like a Trinity Force or a Sunderer or anything like that.
I'm a little concerned for Banana Brawlers that they're going to get into the late game and then they're going to realize that no one can kill Akuma, because you're right that they have a lot of burst damage between Silas, Zinjao, Heimerdinger, but unless you can force Mordekaiser to stay
Ooh,
under
stolen
the-
Shadow Surge, Ethereal Ice in trouble. The flash forward for the win becomes lightning from Rengoku. A little bit of extra damage allows them to secure that kill very, very quickly. That will be one, that kill credit going over to the Zinzao there, I believe, actually, as Discrepancy makes his way into the mid lane. An early Crescent Guard from Rengoku, just to try and dissuade Discrepancy from going for anything, but the Cyclone will come out anyways. Oh, looking for it. Gets the knock up on a 2, but not enough. As Rengoku on a killing spree, going to be able to drop Herald in mid, while Ashheimer pushes in bot. And now it is the Banana Brothers getting leads across the map.
just a Steven difference, able to find the smite, finish off the kill. Rengoku now going to be in position to take the second Drake as well. So now the gold lead opening up to about 2k. Going to be a lot of that in the jungle, a little bit in the mid lane as well. They're in a good position to use that mid-jungle duo to roam around the map. Silas very good at getting into side lanes. Zinjao very good at setting up ganks as well. So this is a scary time for the side lanes of
Yeah,
Skoll.
absolutely. They do need to be watching out at this point in the game. Akuma has the death round, but he's just going to get locked down by the Glacial President. Oh, he turns it around at the last second. The burn. Is it enough to charge back in? But Akuma, with the passive, I think got the last hit on the Sejuani there. Temtem dashing out of the fear. Going back in with the chains. He has the stolen Cyclone, but he's outnumbered right here. Here comes his jungler, though. Zinzao over the wall with the blast cone. Akuma pretty low from the previous scuffle. The chains will connect. Temtem immediately forced to try and flash away. Does get the kill on the top laner. And now it's an even 2v2 Discrepancy trying to go back in, but he doesn't have his Sunder completed. He doesn't have any sustain. And it's going to be another double for Temtem for the mid laner of the Brawlers.
Yeah, Temtem so strong at this point, 4-0-2, able to get into that side lane, and once you get the first kill, it's just a snowball of kills going back and forth. And that means that Banana Brawler is going to be pushing the lead out to 3,000 gold now. Rift Herald must have been dropped in the bot lane at some point, but I think
Mid.
that
It was mid lane, I do believe.
It was mid? All right.
It was, yes. Right after they killed Discrepancy in that 2v1.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I didn't remember where it was used. I was just thinking that it could have been dropped topside now to get more plates, and then I saw it wasn't there anymore. But
Yeah,
anytime that you use it to get plates anywheres, that's a good usage of it. So got all that work done. And now the next Rift Herald about to come up as well. Plates about to fall down. So we're in a solid mid-game state where we see the lead in favor of Banana Brawlers, but Ragnarok Skoll definitely chances to get back into this game once it scales later on.
They have some nice wombo potential, so they can always come back with a big team fight where they get onto the back line, they blow up Casey and Valkyrie. That is always a possibility, but I do like the Herald into the mid turret, especially. I do agree with you that just getting that charge after you get a kill to guarantee some plate supply, some pressure is really good. Casey, oh, nice flash. Predicts the Cyclone is going to come out from the Wukong, immediately flashes away and denies the possibility of the follow-up from the Maokai. So nicely done by Casey down here to keep himself alive. And the rest of his team will be able to secure Herald number 2. So it is a trade of the bot tier 1 going over to Ragnarok and the second Herald secured by the Banana Brawlers. But now the onus is on them. The onus is on the Brawlers of Bananas to use their Herald effectively. They have to make good on this objective, or that trade was actually advantageous for Ragnarok.
Yeah, I think that in general I'd expect it to be about even. Getting that first turret is pretty nice for Ragnarok Skoll. They're going to be able to get a little bit of gold back into their pockets. But if they can get a couple towers, then Banana Brawlers will be pretty happy with trading that over to get that Rift Herald.
Really aggressive from
Drake as well.
Really aggressive from Reflect here, fighting into Akuma, who had the 2-level advantage on the Mordekaiser, but Sejuani able to bully him a little bit in the lane there while he's trying to farm. Reflect playing it out really well thus far. You know, is 0-3 on the Sejuani. He hasn't been having a fantastic game or anything, but I feel like they've been playing the trades about as well as can be expected in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the wave state was just really hard to deal with early on. As a Sejuani, you don't really need that much gold either. You're just trying to get the levels so that you can get the higher tier ultimates available. And then you just look for a pick at the start of a team fight, and that's how you find
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Phantom. He's forced to go in, but he's just going to burn down. Well, the Shadow Surge, did it connect? I believe that it missed, but it doesn't matter because Wolfman is here to land the auto attack. So a trade of the supports as Valkyrie uses both of his summoners, and Phantom commits the ignite as well.
Yeah, Wolfman flashed there to finish off the kill, though. So
Oh, true. True. Good shout.
A big trade in favor of Banana Brawlers. But we'll see if they can use that as the Drake about to start up. Enchanted Crystal Arrow just went wide, so that's not available.
Ooh, could be pretty big here. This would be Hextech Soul Point if the side of the Banana Brawlers are able to secure this objective that just spawned onto the map. Rengoku lands the tip of the spear onto the Donger. Discrepancy with a nasty flank here. He's onto the marksman. Casey, watch the Ash. Is he able to stay alive? Phantom straight in with Twisted Advance, and that is the shutdown onto the AD carry. Rengoku now trapped in the Death Realm. Nowhere to go. And it is Ragnarok with 2 for nothing right at the start of that fight, and they will be able to stop that soul stacking right here and now.
As long as this might is true, but the fight is still going on.
Reflect teleporting in after already losing 2 members. The Sejuani doesn't have Smite, and now he doesn't have a health bar either, Tiger. Just fed himself to the wolves there, and that will be the dragon, plus a bonus kill going over the way of Ragnarok.
Yeah, fortunate to be able to take that Hexgate back, or it might have been another bonus kill. But now the gold has been evened up once again, so it just changes that quickly. This series has been a little bit of back and forth in a lot of these games. And now we're in Game 3, tied on the game score, tied on the gold. This is all you can ask for out of the series, Crewman.
Absolutely. It really is the dream here in the competitive league space. This is what we all want to see. The back and forth battles, the close team fights, the nasty flanks, the objectives going every which way. It's an absolute banger. It's 10-10, 18 minutes in. You love to see it. Shadow Surge connecting, Vex going in, the Nature's Grasp from the side as well, but Heimerdinger with the peel, with the massive disengage, had the empowered Q-turn, had already taken out the mid laner, but here comes Discrepancy. The Wukong makes his way into the fight. Ash gets another, the shield bow pop there, not enough to keep him alive, but it ends up being a 2 for 2, and a big old scuffle in the mid game, and we're still dead even.
Yeah, good trades back and forth there. Kai's able to set up the double kill. Definitely the strongest player out of that fight, but still comes out just about even. Both side lanes going to be attacked now. We'll see if the bot tier 1 ends up going down. I think that the top tier 1 gonna survive with just a sliver of health here. But I still think that both sides should be just fine with the way that played out. And it looks like we're going to see another play set up here on the bottom side of the map by Ragnarok Skoll.
Yeah, they were looking for Temtem if he was going to push up a little bit too far there, but the Sixth Sense was activated for the mid laner there on the Banana Brawlers. Rengoku looking for a play onto the top laner now. Akuma in trouble. Has the Death Realm casted a little bit late there. Is he going to be able to win out in this 1v1? Rengoku trying to get a little bit more damage. Down the Xin Zhao wins out in the Death Realm. Rengoku reigns supreme.
Bit of an interesting target selection to try to ult the Xin Zhao. I think that Akuma might have been holding the ultimate, trying to find Heimerdinger.
Oh, the flash into the Twisted Advance. Oh, it's the Maokai sec. Casey is gonna go down. Oh, it's a trade of the marksman as the Tristana gets traded back as well. Phantom goes down to the turret. Discrepancy has to evacuate the area. Going back in actually with the Cyclone. Oh, Temtem. The chain's going in the wrong direction. I don't know if it mattered in the end. The Silas gets taken out. Oh, it's another 2 for 2 in mid here, but they get the turret on top for the side of Ragnarok. A little bit of extra gold for them. 2 minutes still on the next dragon. Discrepancy trying to trickster away from this Sejuani, who desperately wants to finish him off, but Reflect not able to finish it. commits the ultimate, not able to finish off the Monkey King. A discrepancy waltzes his way out of there, secures the turret, and has the last laugh.
Yeah, so once again, pretty even trades going back and forth. A slight advantage has been gained at this point by Banana Brawlers, but we're going to see in about a minute 45 that the next Drake on the map, probably going to be the next place that contest going to occur. Could be a 5v5 setup here. Teleport available for both top laners as well as Temtem. Going to be able to join the fight as soon as it begins. We've got a little bit of time to farm it up a little bit more, get final resets off, try to get onto 2 items here for these big carries. But I think that this next fight coming up could be the opportunity, especially for Banana Brawlers in the spot that they're in. That's the spot where they really need to take control of this game.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there is the risk the longer we go that the side of Ragnarok can find the big play that they're looking for. It can kind of flip this one on its head. You know, if they win a couple more team fights, you know, the explosiveness of this comp can't be underestimated, and Temtem gets caught out. He has the stolen Maokai ultimate, but he's not able to escape. They finish him off. They had numbers in the area. They catch him unawares. And with a man advantage now, just 30 seconds before the dragon spawns, this should tie up that dragon count at 2-2.
Yeah, teleport is available for Temtem, so it is still possible to contest here.
Okay, yeah.
But it does become very difficult to do, as the timer is just about the same between the spawn of the dragon and the respawn of Temtem. So the first priority over the river is going to go to Ragnarok Skoll. We'll see if they can use that to their advantage.
Currently maintaining control for now. Akaba coming in with the Hex Gate, trying to buy some space behind the pit, but Temtem's going to teleport right in here. So it will be the 5v5. Temtem actually teleported behind. It was Reflect who teleported behind the pit, so Temtem has a flank angle here. He's going to look for a big play. Wolfman jumping back, but he gets stunned up. Reflect charging into the back line. Tristan has ignited, burning down. Will drop. The first casualty is the marksman for Ragnarok. Ethereal Ice in the back line going golden, trying to buy a little bit more time. It's going to be Temtem who falls next. And now the Maokai will drop. Casey free firing into the back line with the Ash. And Shannon Cristolero comes out sidestepped by Akuma. The Deathgrass not going to find the mark either, though. And Mordekaiser doesn't have any friends left. He's got Wukong on the other side, though. Discrepancy going to come in, going to bonk the Heimerdinger and take out the support. But now he's alone in a 1v2. He has the Cyclone, but the slows, the CC is just too much. And Banana Brawlers will get the 5 for 3 and put themselves on Hexo points.
Yeah, really close fight there. A nice flank setup by Temtem at the beginning of the fight, able to get on towards the back line, and a huge glacial prison also from Reflect, able to drop Wolfman super low at the beginning of the fight. Once they were able to take out Wolfman, they were able to win that side of the fight. There was so much work on the opposite side done by Akuma, but it just wasn't enough to win the fight.
Nature's Grasp. Phantom needs a little bit of help here if he actually wants to do anything to the Sejuani, and the help was just a second too late to arrive. The Sejuani will assault herself over the wall. The Shadow Surge just wide. Ethereal Ice not able to find it.
So that means that now we've got Banana Brawlers on Soul Point. Hextech Soul, still probably the strongest soul in the game.
I think so.
Going to do a lot of work, especially in helping them get more damage, which would help mitigate my concern about not being able to kill Mordekaiser. Clearly, Akuma was a problem for them in that fight, and now they have the opportunity to make it so that he's never a problem for them again if they can get that Hextech Soul.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that Mordekaiser really struggles with, right, is just being kited out. And the slow from the Hex Soul is going to be really, really relevant there as well, in preventing him from getting on top of these targets that he wants to hit with his big mace. As Temtem is going in, he's not afraid of the mace. He's got this Mordekaiser down to 50% HP already. He's got the stolen ultimate as well. I think he's going to put the Lord of the Death Realm into his own personal little realm of death here. Oh, the obliterate, the ISO damage from Alchema turns it around. Rengoku with the Crest Guard is not enough. It's going to be a couple of quick kills back over to Ragnarok. Now the Shadow Sword's back in. Ethereal Ice. We get a little bit more damage. Valkyrie going to go golden. Going to buy a little more time. But Alchema pulls him back, and he brings down the hammer It's the 5-0 Ragnarok massively on top.
This time they should have no problem doing Baron. And at the beginning of the fight, I think that looks a lot different if Akuma gets killed, because Akuma did a lot of the damage once he was out of the Death Realm. But the big part of that play is that you see Temtem use the ultimate first, which means that he steals the stats away on the resistances from the Mordekaiser. But Akuma ulting second means that he steals the resistances back.
Oh, man.
And is able to survive longer because of that. And that was just a brilliant play at the beginning of the fight, and really changed how the whole fight was going to look because of that big healing on the back end of that. Conqueror doing a lot of work. Triumph proc able to get the health back as well. Akuma just super well played there.
Wow, it was like Inception. It's a Death Realm inside a Death Realm. It's certainly a rude awakening for the Banana Brawlers. Not how they were hoping that one would go. I mean, it looked good at first for Temtem. He got a huge trade to start that one off, but the commitment was just a little bit too much. You described it, I think, perfectly there. How that went down. It was Akuma with quick thinking. The Lord of the Death Realm was victorious in the end. You shouldn't be challenging him on his home turf there. And that was, I think, the mistake that Temtem did make. And now it is Baron. Now it is a 3,500 gold lead in favor of Ragnarok. And they are looking to return to the Game 1 glory that they so recently did possess.
Now we've got the opposite side of the matchup here with the next Drake coming up. We've had the opportunity for Banana Brawlers to take control of the game at the last Dragon, and they did get themselves a better situation, but they didn't completely take control. But now on the back end of that 5-0 Ace plus Baron, it's going to be Ragnarok Skoll with the opportunity to take control of the game at the next Dragon fight. 1 minute from now, that's what I got my eyes on. Akuma doing a good job split pushing the bot side here. I don't know how much they're going to get in the way of towers, but they're going to have their resets come through. Hopefully have 3 items on Wolfman here. And Wolfman doing a lot of damage in these fights. Kind of been quiet throughout the game, but still doing a lot of the work here.
Okay, so that tier 2 in the top lane got evaporated, but Dragon is spawning in 30 seconds. And Hextol is something that Ragnarok absolutely need to be considering right now. You cannot be forgetting about the objectives at this point in the game. They need to head over there and make sure that Banana Brawlers cannot pick up that powerful buff for themselves. It's level 16 for Akuma on the Mordekaiser, so this should be a very straightforward play. This is exactly how you want to do it. You want to control the space. Shadow Surge in. Temtem ignited, burning down very low. Going to be pushed out of the fight. Nature's Grasp going to come out as well. The stolen Nature's Grasp for a little bit of a counter engage, potentially. It's a couple of roots, not much else. And this is exactly how you want to do it. Control this. Oh, this is very sneaky from Toxic Valkyrie. I don't think he can actually make anything happen there. No, he's going to try and cheese somebody, but nope. He gets found out. He is the one who gets discovered. Oh, but Wukong is very low now, and they're onto Wolfman. Oh, they got Wolfman by himself. The Tristana's out of the fight. And now it's all coming apart at the seams for Ragnarok. The Death Grasp back in. Akuma's going to try and 1v9 this. The level 16 Mordekaiser. Can he make it happen? The arrow connects. Discrepancy has to abandon ship on this fight immediately. And Mordekaiser can't do a thing. It's going to be a kill onto the Maokai as well. And just like that, just when we thought Ragnarok had this one under control, it is the Banana Brawlers who come brawling their way right back into it. They lock down the Hex Soul. They shorten that gold lead substantially, and now they are the ones going to be looking to push towards the inhibitor turrets.
Akuma didn't press tab, didn't see the scoreboard. Kais bought a QSS and was able to cleanse the Death Realm, and that was what set up Akuma to get killed right at the beginning of that fight. A good pick onto Wolfman, once again setting stuff up as well, but here comes
oh man, Ethereal Ice going straight in, gets the 3-man fear. We got the follow from Discrepancy, but Wukong doesn't have the Cyclone quite off cooldown yet. He's gonna get shot down. Wolfman now, surely. Oh, going back in. Whoa, the Tristana. Oh, the Buster shot almost enough to get the Ashe on the back end of that one as well. Wolfman almost with the hero play, but it is one extra kill, I should say, for the Brawlers on the back end of that one, as well as getting the tier 2 in mid. They're stealing away the jungle camps. It is looking really good for them now.
Yeah, I definitely think Banana Brawlers have the advantage, but I wouldn't say that they're completely out of the woods just yet because the gold lead is still in favor slightly of Ragnarok Skoll. I think that with the soul that makes up for it, but this game is still really close. It's
Absolutely.
like hanging in the balance of one fight could be the win for either team at this point. A 5-0 ace with the Baron buff could be all it takes. So we're getting into the deep part of this series
yes.
where either team could come out on top. And, well, this last game of the day has definitely been the closest one, definitely living up to our expectations for this series.
You'll love to see it, right? It was Ragnarok fairly comfortably ahead in game 1. It was the Banana Brawlers fairly comfortably taking game 2. There were bright moments for both teams in both of those first games. But this is, I absolutely agree, easily the closest of the 3 that we've seen tonight. And really, we couldn't have it any other way. We certainly are into the late game now. All of these champions, all of these players closing in on level 16, starting to put the finishing touches on their item builds. And Baron is alive on Summoner's Rift once again. We have most of the players up towards the top side right now. Reflex getting collapsed on at the moment. The Buster Shot going to push him back towards the turret. He dodges away from the Shadow Surge, but it's not going to matter. There's nowhere that he can go. He's going to try to flash away. He builds a little bit more space. The Arctic Assault. I think the Sejuani might actually be out of there. She's going to escape towards the mid lane. Now Valkyrie, a little bit of poke damage onto the Tristana. Sapling going to scout out the turret there, but the turret is stronger. It survives the Sapling explosion. And now it will be the Brawlers onto the Baron. They're looking to brawl with the Baron here once again. I don't think there's vision in the pit for the side of Ragnarok. It's going down very quickly. Wolfman sees them on it now, but the Baron, the objective is gone. The Tristana forced out. Oh, and Discrepancy now in trouble. He's getting charged at by Reflex. Sejuani going to get locked up by the E. Dashing in now is Zinzao audaciously. The Cyclone, the move speed. Will it be enough to do Discrepancy to safety? Toxic Valkyrie goes down to Akuma, but Ash will be able to clean up the top laner, and the Wukong was not able to escape. So it's a 4v3 on the map for the Brawlers, and they are wearing purple on all 4.
Oh no, there's a ward.
Oh,
there's a
one
ward.
last volley. With Wolfman down, they're going to be hard-pressed to withstand the siege. Now the Brawlers are looking to close this one out. Casey does have the Cleanse and a Blast Cone to get himself away from the Vex. And now with the base delayed, Ethereal Ice not going to be in time to defend these Nexus turrets. This surely will be the end. Tiger, the first Nexus turret, already down. Vex back in the base now, but I don't think she's in time to defend. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, it will connect. The Nexus turret will fall. The mid laner next to go. And the Banana Brawlers, the number 2 seed in the Piltover division, secure a place in the semifinals.
Well, that match sure had a lot of fighting in it at the end of the day, but Banana Brawlers able to come back after falling behind 1-0 at the top of the match, able to come out on top and make their way towards the semifinals. But both of these teams should be contenders for the title. I can't wait to see what happens with Ragnarok Skoll going through the bottom side of the bracket. The semifinals should be an exciting matchup as well. So definitely keep your eyes on both of these teams as a potential rematch in the finals.
Indeed, excuse me, I see Shinkari in Twitch chat over there. That's why, but you are absolutely right, Tiger. I have a funny feeling that this is not the last that we've seen of these two teams going at it. I expect we will see them facing off against each other on opposite sides of the rift before the playoffs are done. That would not surprise me one bit, but it was the Banana Brawlers who came out on top tonight. They were down after game 1. It seemed like Ragnarok maybe had their number. Maybe Ragnarok was carrying some momentum from their first match of the postseason, but in the end, the Banana Brawlers were able to bounce back. They got some momentum back for themselves after game 2, seemed to find their footing. And then here in game 3, it was an absolute slugfest. And there were some really massive team fights going both ways. But In the end, it was the Banana Brawlers with the objective control, with the jungling from discrepancy. Always in the right place, the right time, always kicking off those team fights on the right foot, able to make it happen, and able to allow things to go to chalk here in this part of the bracket and set themselves up for a semifinals berth.
Yeah. And I think that throughout this series, we had strong performances from pretty much every player. But I think that at the end of the day, Kais was just too strong. That the Ashe even I liked the build adaptation to get that QSS.
Oh, yeah, it turned out to be
that
so
big
huge, right?
crucial soul fight,
Yeah.
and then ending up going towards. It was Blade of the Ruin King third item, I think, which
It
was
was.
just
It
doing
was.
so much damage throughout the team fights. Able to be that taking out Akuma, able to resolve my fears about that. Akuma just played very well in the last game as well, but unfortunately, both teams can't win. So,
Yeah.
player of the series goes to Kais for me.
I'd have to agree. I would have to agree. Even in game one, when they lost, he was at 1.4-0 on the Samira, despite the fact that they weren't able to make it happen in that first game number one. You know, it was all three good games for Casey. It might be Kais. You know, we never actually came to an agreement on that if it's Kais
No, we didn't.
or Casey. But regardless, they played real well. They did real good. So props to them. And certainly, you know, that is a bot lane that we have to be looking out for and potentially, I think, saying is the strongest in the division after their performance tonight. Really impressive stuff. Even in matchups where they, I think, weren't necessarily favored. I think it was game two, when they had the Vera Zyra in game two. Yeah, they were able to pilot some aggressive lanes extraordinarily well, and it was really impressive to watch. You have any closing thoughts on tonight's match, Tiger, or any thoughts on the rest of the bracket as we move forward?
Well, I just love to see the adaptations going on with the new patch, with the preseason updates. I'm excited about the state of League of Legends right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what these teams are doing. I'm excited about seeing Steven on the Rift again. But as far as this match goes, I had a great time being a part of the cast, and always going to be exciting to watch some style esports going on here with you, Crewman. So hopefully we'll get to cast some more in the near future.
Absolutely. A banger from us, as always, I think, Tiger. And we appreciate all the love from Twitch chat as well, guys. Shout out to all you guys in Twitch chat. Thank you very much for the kind words. But with tonight's win, Banana Brawlers, as we already mentioned, secured themselves a spot in the semifinals where they will be going up against Divine Guardian, the number 4 seed, who managed to take down 1 seed Mythic Ascension in a stunning upset just this past week. So that should be a very entertaining matchup. And then Ragnarok Esports pushed down, of course, to the lower bracket. And they should have a very manageable opponent in the number 6 seed, No Good Luck. Assuming they can win that match, they will then play the winner of Death Knight's Amethyst, who they already defeated, and Mythic Ascension. So most likely going up against the 1 seed in that lower bracket semifinal. But yeah, we got a lot of entertaining League of Legends still ahead of us, guys. Be sure to tune back in. I believe our next stream, let me pull it up for you really quickly. Yeah, we have got one tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern. Wolfpack Rendezvous versus the Shining Light White Knights, the top 2 teams in all of Style Esports, Tiger. And you're going to be back on that one with our boy Shinkari. That's tomorrow again, 9:30 Eastern. You definitely don't want to miss that one, guys. Be sure you tune in tomorrow night as well. But from us here at Style Esports, from myself, from Tiger, from the entire production team, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. We really, really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday evening, and we will see you back here again real soon. Good night.